Hi class! Today is October 9th. My name is Danae Hall and today I'm working on the salt tolerance pH testing lab. Here I have all of my materials on the bleached surface. First I'm going to label all the broth tubes with either S. cerevisiae or S. epidermidis. So my pipette is dry. I just sterilized it in alcohol, so I'm going to then sterilize the 1% NaCl S. cerevisiae broth. So I'm just going to uncap it and pass the lip of the tube over the flame. Next, I am going to sterilize the S. cerevisiae culture vial. Now I'm going to pipette 2 drops from the culture vial into the 1% nutrient broth tube. I'm going to sterilize the 1% and recap it. Now I'm going to do the same process for the 7% S. cerevisiae and the 15%. So now that the S. cerevisiae has been recapped and sterilized and the pipette is in bleach, I'm going to do the same process with the S. epidermis 1% vial and the S. epidermis nutrient broth. Now I'm going to take a picture of my broths and incubate for 48 hours. So these are the broth tubes after 48 hours of incubation, starting with 1%, 7%, and then 15%. And this is the S. cerevisiae tubes. And then these are these S. epidermidis tubes. This one is 1%, this one is 7, and this one is 15. Now I'm going to label each of the nutrient broths as S. Epi, pH, and then a number. Now I'm going to pick up the S. Epi pH 5 tube and pass the lid over the flame. I'm going to add 1 drop of HCl into the tube. Then I'm going to sterilize this one more time. And I'm going to do the same thing to the S. cera pH 5 tube. Now I'm going to do the S. epi pH 9. Now I'm going to add 1 drop of sodium hydroxide to the pH 9 tube. Now I am going to do the same thing to the S. cera pH 9 tube. Alright, now that my pipette has been shaken dry, I am going to take 2 drops of the active S. epidermidis culture broth and then put it into each of the 3 S. epidermidis pH broths. This is the pH 9 S. epidermidis broth, and this is the culture vial. And sterilize this. Now I'm going to take 2 drops and pipette it into here. I'm going to continue to do the same thing with each of the S. epidermidis broths. I'll sterilize all of the tubes before recapping. Now that my tubes are sterilized, as is my dried pipette, I'm going to now pipette 2 drops of S. cerevisiae into each one of the S. cerevisiae pH tubes. So here are the results from the lab after 48 hours of incubation.